Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
No, you didn't miss the dial. This is The Bookshelf, broadcasting live on Western Spring Television. My name is DAMILOLA RAPHAEL. I believe you have been reading, journaling your activities and progress, and putting in the work. I'll give you the tip for this for free. It may look impossible or insignificant at the beginning, but please keep at it, as you would soon strike gold. Believe it, because it's true. The key word today is diversity. Diversity, from the root word diverse, which means showing a great deal of variety, very different. That is the condition of having or being composed of different elements. According to the Collins English Dictionary, diversity involves the deliberate inclusion in a group or activity of people who are, for example, of different races, genders, and religions. According to Steps for Change, diversity is the concept of understanding that each individual is unique and that each of our individual differences share a purpose in society. Heterogeneity, multiplicity, assortment, those of you that like assorted, multifariousness, manifoldness, that's like one of the words you use when you're extolling God. Distinctiveness are all synonymous to the term diversity. Diversity drives creativity and innovation. It promotes higher rates of productivity and performance, and diversity enhances personal growth. AMP Global Youth posits that diversity helps you to have a richer life experience, have a new and broad perspective, become a global citizen, and also gives you growing acceptance with diminishing discrimination. Almost everywhere around us is rife with information on diversity and inclusion. Research, screen, now I'm talking about the verb for screen, that sift through and apply as suits you. And as you can see, there is a diversity in my outfit. The combination of style and colors. That was deliberate. While you ponder on what you do next to be positively diverse, I'll take this quick break and be back to unveil our guest. Welcome back. Our guest today, Dr. Adewusi, has over 12 years experience in the non-profit sector and earned a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery degree from the University of Bibilari in Nigeria in 2014. He is a training facilitator and health advocate with Senior Assurances, a leading insurance company in Africa. Dr. Adewusi coordinates Doctors in Your Health, an online bi-monthly health discussion forum with an excess of 2,000 participants. Currently undergoing his residency in pathology, that's a branch of medicine that studies hematological, anatomical, chemical, infectious, and molecular basis of diseases. Dr. Adewusi has extensive training on a wide range of human diseases and management modalities. His subspecialty in clinical microbiology equips him with skills in laboratory isolation and identification of pathogens using the latest technology available in the field. He is now a director of Destiny Development Initiative, DDI, a non-profit organization in Nigeria, where he has been a volunteer since 2010, serving in different capacities as field officer, medical team leader, research team leader, and training director. Over the years, Adewusi has developed competence in public speaking, organizational administration, strategic planning, and leadership development. With a very warm smile, because that's about the only thing you can do in a theater. With a very warm smile, dear viewer, please make welcome the esteemed Dr. Bibilari Adewusi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Doctor.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm very glad to have you on set.
Thank you for the good work you've been doing in enlightening the public. Thank you for the bookshelf. Sometimes it's said that if you want to hide something from a black man or something, you hide it in the book. So thank you for putting life to this and, really inspiring and stimulating people on the need for us to read. Thank you.
Okay, so should I blush? Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Sir. All right. You move not totally from taking care of the human body to taking care of the mind. Because when you write a book, you're taking care of the mind. What gave birth to this diversification?
My drive for life or my desire in life is to help people live well. Is to contribute to people's good living in whatever ways and whatever forms that I can. So healthcare, or being a doctor, is one platform that I use. And then I also realize that I have this gift of writing. So I also want to use that to help people to live better, to live well. So basically, I'll say that's the motivation behind it, helping people to live better lives, as in general. So really, I think that's it.
It's amazing because, I mean, doctors, there's this saying, this word on streets that goes around that doctors have a bad handwriting. So, I mean, the first thing that comes to your mind is, don't even bother to write, because even the prescriptions we can't see. And, you all seem always to be in a hurry when you're writing. And then you wrote, that's about over 100 pages.
Yeah.
Early success.
Yeah.
And you took the time to write, correct, edit, go back to add more points.
Yeah.
And you said it's in you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next question I'm going to be asking. While explaining the mystery of the human conception, you told the reader, I would say you told me, because I mean, I personalized it. You told the reader you already won.
Yeah.
I mean, that was then. That was even without the person's awareness. Now this person is alive here and aware, and this person is feeling. Does that word, that statement, you already won, does it still hold true for such a person?
That was why I started by saying that I appreciate the bookshelf. Many people are alive, they are living, but they are living in ignorance and darkness. And unfortunately, whatever you do not know cannot benefit you. When a person enters medical school properly starts from 200 level, because in 100 level we are still doing sciences, we just take subjects or courses in the sciences. But medical school proper, where we begin to really talk about the human body and all that, begins from 200 level. And there's a course that we take in 200 level, that's anatomy. Anatomy has 3 components. There's gross anatomy, what we can see physically. There is histology. Those are the microscopic features of our body, cells, and all that we cannot really see with the naked eye. And then there's embryology. Embryology is the study of the formation of the human being. So in embryology, in 200 level, we were told how every human being comes into being, how every human being comes into existence. And that means that there is a coming together of the spermatozoon from the man and the egg from the woman. The process by which they come together is called fertilization. Now, before we get to that fertilization, when a man and a woman meet and the man ejaculates, Usually for every ejaculate, there are millions of sperm in there, millions of spermatozoa rather in there. And all of them begin to aim for the prize. The prize for all those spermatozoa is the egg. So millions of spermatozoa run towards the egg, and only one.
Wow.
Is permitted to enter the egg. Once, you know, God is amazing. Once that one spermatozoon enters the egg, there is a chemical change in the ovum that shuts out every other spermatozoa. None can enter again. Once that one has entered, every other one is shut out. So it's only one spermatozoa that gives rise to every human being. So you find out that from our very inception, we have been running, we have been competing. Every one of us, we've been competing. And the fact that a person is born means that you were successful at that race. Means that among millions of potential spermatozoa, you were the one that was successful. And you know, we need to think about that, because when you think about that, it has a way of strengthening our journey on earth. And maybe in addition to that is also the fact that really nature never made any failure. There's nobody that is a failure in creation. Many times it's just that people do not know what they carry. And that's really one of the things that also spurred this book. I found out that to be successful is predictable. You know, it's a formula that anyone can pick, regardless of where you're born, regardless of your race, regardless of your color, regardless of your city, regardless of your parental background. Once you know the formula, you can apply it. The only difference is that it may take person A 5 years for the formula to work. It may take person B maybe 15 years because of certain variabilities in our background. But the truth is that ultimately the formula works for everybody.
For everybody.
Yes, it does work for everybody.
So it doesn't matter now. The fact that the viewer may have failed or may have been failing at different points, you already won.
You are going to fail at some point. Everybody is going to fail at some point.
Okay.
Everybody's going to fail at something. You are not going to always win at the first attempt. You won't always win at the first attempt. But the key and part of the formula is also the fact that you don't give up. The fact that you tried something and it didn't work simply means that you have learned how not to do it. And see, that how not to do it is often a pointer that God uses or the Creator uses to guide us in the right path. So the fact that somebody failed, you wrote an exam, you failed, you started a business, it didn't work the first time, it doesn't make you a failure.
Have you failed before?
You said?
Have you failed before in anything? Because you need to read that book. I have read it 2 times through. 2 times. I read it the first time, 2020, and I read it again. And I'm like, your daddy must be a president or something. Or you must have gone to a private school for you to finish medicine in Nigeria at that age. And possibly you never failed, you never had challenges. I mean, to drive you to school, you know, come back home and everything, all on a platter of gold.
Earlier this week, the question you asked, have you failed before? There's one of my proteges in OAU. She's a final year student. She wrote a test and she had 39% in the test. That was like 3 over 10 or 3.9 over 10. So she was concerned and all that. And then as we were discussing, she said, "Doctor, have you failed at anything before? Have you ever failed before?" And you know, the question made me smile. And I had to share one of my failures with her. Sometimes last year, I applied for an exam. It was an international professional exam. I had to write the exam in Ghana. The accommodation, the registration and everything, I spent about 350,000 on that exam, plus accommodation. And when the result, of course, I got the result immediately. Immediately in the exam hall. I had 53% in that exam. 53? Yes, 53% as my aggregate in that exam. But the result was failed. 53? I didn't meet the cutoff. So for them, I failed that exam. It was a painful experience. I was like, I came all the way from Nigeria to come and write because there's no center in Nigeria. I had to go all the way to Accra in Ghana to write that exam. You know, when I go back to my hotel room, I just have to put a call through to my mentor. You know, sir, I don't feel this thing. No. And of course, you have to encourage me. And then there are other things, there are other instances where I have tried things and they didn't work. And that's why I just had to share when you had survived failure before. Yes, that one was a very painful experience for me because the investment, it took me about 3 months of intensive reading, trying to prepare for the exam and all that. But hey, it happens to everybody.
Happens.
Interestingly, I wrote another exam about 3 weeks ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And when I was told about the result, I had the highest in that exam. Okay, so I failed last year. This one I wrote, I had the highest. Of course, all thanks be to God for his enablement and all that. But I'm just helping us to see that there's always that balance in life. And the fact that, in fact, you should expect that at some point in your life, you're going to, if you have never failed at anything, at some point you're going to fail at something. And the fact that you failed at something does not make you a failure.
Failure is not fatal. Success, they say, is not final. Now, you may have wondered, just 100 pages. This is not a book you read and, you drop. It's a book you read and you work with. And it's no hype, doctor, but it's the truth. It's something that's going to be relevant at different points for you or for people around you. Now, I would want for doctor to kindly enumerate some of the 15 principles of wealth generation. You talked about wealth generation there.
Yeah.
You gave 15 principles. If you could just give us 2 or 3.
Okay. Let me start with the law of equality.
Okay.
Growing up, I just want to share this brief experience. Growing up, I lost my dad early. I was about 9 when I lost my dad.
Wow.
So things were a bit tough, things were a bit rough, and at some point there was this particular neighbor of ours. The family was doing well, and sometimes I visited family. Because at that time, the early 2000s, they had computer systems in their house. The children had computer. This family was just wealthy and they were okay. And many times I desired, I wondered that why wasn't I born into this kind of family where food, because at that time they had so much food that sometimes food wasted. They cooked lunch, for example, maybe rice or something, and then because there was so much, they could afford to waste food. And I would look at the food that is being wasted and I'm like, But you see, later I got to understand as I grew and as I studied that there is a law of equality in life. And that law of equality says that anybody and everybody can succeed provided you know the right steps to take. Success is not exclusive to some set of people. That's one of the things I didn't understand earlier. I thought that it's only when you are born into a privileged family, a wealthy family, that you can become successful. It's not true. Anybody and everybody can become successful. And that's the law of equality. Everybody is equal. Everybody is born equal. In fact, that's one of the reasons why nobody comes into the world with keys to Venza or keys to Prado. Nobody comes into the world with keys to a mansion. Everybody, God doesn't, yes, everybody comes empty. In terms of, when I say everybody comes empty, I mean, when you look at the hands of a baby, nobody comes with anything. However, again, nobody's born empty. That's why I have to correct myself. Nobody's born empty, because everything we need to make us successful on earth has been packaged inside each and every one of us. That's the law of equality. Then the second law is the law of abundance. And the law of abundance simply refers to the fact that all lands are blessed. Every land is blessed. Something spectacular and something interesting is happening today. It's something historic. Dangote refinery is being commissioned today, and I think it's quite coincidental that we're having this discussion today.
Indeed.
Yeah. Dangote is the wealthiest black man on earth, the wealthiest African on earth. And he didn't make his money in the US. He didn't make his money in the UK. He didn't make his money in China. He made his money in Nigeria. And that's just an example to just show us that, I mean, he made this money here. So if he can make his money here, everybody can make their money here, provided, again, that is not just an open statement, provided you know what to do. If you know what to do, you will realize that, after all, let's look at Western Sun Television. Western Spring Television. You are here in Osun State. Other people probably want to start business. They will say, oh, let's go to Lagos, let's go to Abuja, let's go to Kaduna, let's go to places, quote unquote, where things are happening. And you have a successful television station in Osun State. And that's also help us see that every land is blessed, provided you know what to do, provided you have the keys. Yeah.
That's just summary. 2 points out of 15 to generate wealth. We'll move on to some of the short steps to success. Just enumerate two. So I told you it's loaded.
Okay, let
and
me.
this is not something you copied, because I mean, from the way it's all flowing. So follow through.
Of course, you know, that which we have seen, that which we have heard, that which we have told, that which our hands have handled, that's what we declare unto you. 2 short steps.
Yeah.
They're about 8. Well, there could be more. You could add yours. Everyone could add theirs to it, but 12 of them. One is I will say, identify and leverage on all your strengths. Yeah, identify and leverage on all your strengths. Many people are oblivious to what they are carrying. Many people don't know what they carry. And I know it's. I wish everyone could understand this. I wish everybody could understand this. And I was sharing with you about some of the things about my background, that I was envying people. I was wishing that I hated my family. I hated why, because I just felt this was a poor family. This was a family where things weren't working. But I was doing that for lack of understanding. You said, okay, we once started from caring for the body, and then we moved to caring for the mind and all that. It's simply because I understood my strengths. And I found out that, oh, this guy, there's a writer in you. Initially, I wanted to start writing, but it wasn't flowing. And of course, I realized, okay, you have this gift, but again, talent or gift is not enough. It has to be converted to skill. So that's a story for another day. So identify and leverage all your strengths. And then number 2, work with the wise. Work with the wise. A company of fools will be destroyed. He who walks with the wise will be wise. None of us becomes by ourselves. The pencil never achieves anything by itself. Somebody has to use the pencil. Somebody has to take responsibility of sharpening the pencil before the potentials of the pencil can come out. So you need to work with the wise, and sometimes that means you may need to get a mentor. Yeah.
Indeed. Now, there is so much to talk about. How can the viewer access you and some of your materials?
Well, is it okay to give up my phone number?
Anyone you feel comfortable with.
All right. This is my phone number, because I think that's probably the easiest way for a person to reach me. 08169464676. 08169464676. A phone call, WhatsApp message, it's okay. And if you want to get the copy of the book, you can get it on seller.com. All
right. There you have it, dear listener. And this is how we end it on the bookshelf today. Sincere appreciation to Dr. Bibilari Adewusi for coming on set and sharing with us from his wealth of experience.
Thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure being here.
Super glad to have had you. Now, dear listener, I look forward to seeing you next time on the bookshelf, right here on this platform, Western Spring Television. My name is DAMILOLA RAPHAEL. Go on ahead, be positively diverse, be positive in your diversity. I'm saying to you, goodbye and God bless.